So we're talking with John Smith, CRG emPerform. John, tell us about trends, I guess. What's the trend? Is there really a war for talent?
Yeah, I think there is. And I think anybody out there that we're talking to in terms of war for talent, when you say war for talent, it almost sounds like it's a recruiting thing, but it's not. It's also about keeping your talent, right? It's about leveraging the investment that you've made in people. And I think, we live in a world now where there's a lot of highly skilled positions out there. And what we want to ensure is that, we have communication, that we're listening, that our employees feel they're being listened to, and that we're doing everything we can to retain and improve our talent so that we don't end up always having to recruit. The recruiting cost of new people is one element, but getting them up to speed and getting them efficient in their jobs is a whole other cost that's there, and it's often overlooked. So I think in this day and age, organizations invest a lot in their people, and war for talent is all about making sure that we're leveraging it, we're keeping it, and we're doing every possible thing we can to minimize turnover. So it's a real important concept, and everybody's talking about it. So it certainly is a trend, Ed, for sure.
What about globalism now? I assume your product is good for international business, and about succession planning and identifying, performance management. It could be in Europe, it could be in Africa, it could be in Asia.
Yeah, it's interesting. We have a reseller in the United Kingdom, a good partner of ours. We have locations in South Africa and India, and we have customers in those areas. And one of the things that surprises me, I was in Manchester last year for a show called the CIPD show. And the conversations that you have are the same conversations that you'd have in the United States. Even when we do far off demonstrations to somebody in South Africa, it's still the same concepts. And the global reality is that organizations employ people, and because of that, they want to measure performance. They want to retain their talent. That's a phenomenon that happens across the globe. The nice thing from a technology perspective in this day and age is that with the Internet and the broadband capability that's out there, most areas of the world can access our application. We have a customer here in Ottawa that has offices all over the world, and from Ethiopia to the UK and here in Canada and in the United States, and everybody accesses emPerform. It's managed by one person out of the Ottawa office. So it's a great way to connect people, and certainly fits into that whole globalization piece that you're talking about, Ed.
So tell us about shopping around for an employee performance management solution. Obviously, CRG has an interest in this question, but what do buyers look for in this kind of a system?
What we generally see is there's important plays for them. So it's a feature or a number of features that they're looking at. I've always thought what's interesting about this software is that when we go to do a demonstration and when we go to do an implementation, there's always two things going on. There's an automation play, so the organization wants to automate their process. But at the same token, they also want to improve it. Sometimes that's interesting because in the improvement piece, there's things they may not have thought about. And so I always encourage folks out there looking at these types of solutions to follow a few rules. The first one is, really to start with what you're truly looking for. So to put together kind of a short-term and long-term talent management process or game plan. We encourage our clients not to boil the ocean the first time around, not to change everything in the first pass, but to do it over a few phases. And the primary reason we encourage that is employee adoption. These solutions, if they're going to work and the investment's going to be worthwhile, we have to ensure employees and managers use it. So I think that's really important. The next thing on the list is really when you look at the vendors, it's the feature-function equation. You got to look at what you're getting in terms of value. And nowadays, the SaaS models that are out there, software as a service, means that the software is deployed on a web server. You don't even have to put it in your own environment. What you got to be careful, though, and what you got to look at with those is you got to look at the 5 to 10 year cost. You got to say, what kind of investment are we making, not just up front here, but over the next 5 to 10 years? A customer we just had implemented, I think, followed a fantastic process. What she did was she got a group of managers at her company involved right from the beginning in vendor selection. So she kind of had a little committee set up or a task force. And I thought that was really great because what it did was engaged the managers right from the beginning in the vendor selection, which engaged them in the thought leadership that was out there, the pitches that were being made, the improvements that could be made, and then they can become champions when the process is changed and the software is implemented. So if you can, put together a task force of managers and employees and, really think about what you want to achieve in the short term. I think those are great guidelines to follow if you're looking for a solution like this.
So in a sense, you're making friends.
Yeah, we are. You know what? The difference with us is that we try to have a more personal relationship with our customers. So, like everybody else out there, we have a 1-800 number for support and a support email. But generally, as a business practice, the first line of support for us is always the business solution consultant that implemented the system for the customer. After implementation, they have an ongoing relationship because that implementation consultant knows what they want to achieve, invested with them in terms of time, has the personal relationship, and it generally just makes it more comfortable for the customer. I think the other thing we do is we try to listen to our customers a lot. Just coming up in mid-August, Ed, we're releasing version 4 of our product, and it has 3 major functional pieces that we're improving on, and 2 of those 3 were customer-driven. And so we encourage our customers to give us feedback, to tell us what they like and what they don't like, and if there's a feature function that needs to be improved or needs to be added, we listen, and we put it on a list we keep here, and every 3 months when we do our product planning, we bring that list up and see what we can do. From the beginning, I've always thought that our customers are the ones that are really closest to this thing. They have to communicate to their employees the importance of it. They live and breathe performance management on the front lines. They're the people we need to listen to the most. So we try to be friendly, I guess is a good way to say it. That's all about our culture and the way we work, and relationships are everything for us.
So let's talk about customer service issues. What are some of the biggest HR headaches?
Yeah, the biggest headache I would say that I see is really it's about engaging employees and managers in the talent management process. So we're still in this headache mode where, we kind of got to prove its value a little bit to some degree in a lot of organizations. I think managing a paper-based process that's disconnected, trying to show value, that's a real tough headache. So for me, what I see most headaches around, it's about process-driven headache with paper, and it's about engagement. It's about getting people involved in the process. I think those are likely the 2 biggest ones that are out there.
How can companies learn more about this, and what kind of service arrangements do you have to stay close to them?
That's a great question, and it is about automation, and I think I just add to that once you're through that automation cycle, you see, that value, the value chain changes to you really showing and demonstrating value through the process and value in the talent management process. Getting in touch with us is easy. The first place, like everywhere in the world, we have a website, employee-performance.com. I'd encourage anybody out there listening to go check it out. You can sign up on the site for a free trial. You can watch some best practice webinars that we host on a regular basis, and those are great ways to get in touch with us. In terms of our service plans, we have every type of service plan out there for every type of organization. From the organization that knows exactly what they want to do, we have rapid deployments. To the organization that wants best practice consulting, leadership, and hand-holding, we have a best practice plan. For the organization that's somewhere in between, we have what we call a collaborative plan where we talk about this and we go back and forth to make sure we're doing the right thing and we document the decisions that we're making. But at the end of the day, for us, it's always about making sure the client gets what the client is asking for. And all of our service plans are arranged to do that.
I'm on your website right now, employee-performance.com, and I'm looking at 7 commandments for world-class performance and talent management. That's in the Employee Performance blog section. It looks very nice. It looks like it's an article, and this section that I just happened to click on comes up really fast, and I could see that you could make comments and leave a reply and check back on all the different blogs in the past. Looks like your site is very, very customer-friendly, intuitive.
It is, and our marketing folks have spent a lot of time trying to make sure that when anyone gets onto that website, it's easy for them to understand how to navigate, where to go, and what information to pull off. And for us, more and more, you're going to see us out there talking about best practices, less about the product and more about the process, because what we're finding is that if someone who visits the website understands that we understand the process and that we have lots of experience in it, it helps them in their value equation with us. And so there is a lot of great information on there. The blogs are fantastic. Again, I'd encourage anyone to look at the webinars that are there or to sign up and take a free trial of the product tour.
So employee productivity and evaluations can actually increase morale, right?
Absolutely. And I think when you look at organizations with employee morale problems, one of the things that you hear a lot about is that employees feel like they're not being heard. They feel like the managers aren't listening, or there's just no voice for them. And so this talent management solution and performance management just creates a record of an ongoing dialogue that's so important. When we talk specifically only about the appraisal, Ed, we talk about our product saying, you know what, it's getting people ready for that all-important face-to-face meeting. But at the end of the day, this is all about communication. And when it comes to morale, it's about communication. And I think it's a critical piece for any organization out there.
So let me ask you one last question here. What do you do offline? How do you relax?
How do I relax? Well, I have two little girls at home that keep me quite busy. In the summertime, I try to play golf, but 10 years into this thing, I'm not the world's best golfer. I play hockey in the winter and summer in a recreation league, and I'd say of all the sports out there, that's my favorite. Our Ottawa Senators hockey team I love to follow, and I never miss a game. In fact, I was really happy last year because for the first year in the modern franchise history, every game was telecast. So I spend my time doing those sorts of things. That's my life offline, Ed.
We've been talking with John Smith from CRG emPerform. What's your email?
Anybody with questions can email me at jsmith@crgroup.com. And if you're wondering if John Smith is my real name, I can let you know that it is.
That's great. Thank you very much for your time and for all of this good information. And I welcome you back again, and I welcome you to be involved in one of our conferences. This is Ed Cohen, a Global HR Talk Show, Global HR Media, signing off from its studios in Old Town, San Diego.